welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Sam Menzie, and we've got a show for you today. First topic we'll be going over is the historic news that Negro League statistics will be integrated into the MLB record books and just my overall thoughts on it. After that, we'll be going over the New York Mets and their recent struggles as of late and why. Then we'll be going over the Texas Rangers, who have just made some recent roster moves, going over that. Then talking about Jeremiah Estrada for the San Diego Padres and the recent reign of terror he has been on, how good he has been recently. And finally, talking about some trade rumors involving one of the Rockies' best players, Ryan McMahon. Now, before we do all that, I would like to ask you to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read on the air, please use the link gsmcpodcast.net. It really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get into the show today. All right, so as I talked about, our first topic is going to be about the Negro Leagues and the groundbreaking news that their statistics from when they did play in the Negro Leagues are going to be incorporated now into the MLB record books. So now what this means is a player, let's say Josh Gibson, who you're seeing, if you're watching on stream currently, you see the graphics on the board. He is now going to be put at the top of a lot of MLB records, including career batting average. So he now has the highest career batting average ever in baseball history because they are using his statistics from when he played in a different league, not the MLB, the Negro Leagues, as official places in the record books. Now, my overall thoughts on this are, it's amazing and it's well past due, and it's a great job of doing it by the MLB. Now, I think when you look at the history of baseball, honestly, you look at the history of America, it's really not complete without the Negro Leagues and what players did in this league. Obviously, baseball was segregated at this time, like America was, so black players were not allowed into MLB, so they had to have a league of their own, the Negro Leagues. And in this league, there were some of the greatest baseball players ever. Someone who a lot of people consider the greatest baseball player ever, even though he never played in the MLB. Josh Gibson is one of them. Again, one of the guys who is going to be most heavily present in the new list now with all the new statistics. You, of course, have Satchel Paige, Jackie Robinson, Larry Doby, Roy Campanella, other legends like Cool Papa Bell. So I think finally giving these guys full recognition of their talents, what they've done to the history of baseball, is well past due, and a really great job by MLB to finally do it. Now, this is not just something where they decided one day, you know what, we're finally going to give the Negro Leagues the credit it deserves and the place in baseball history it deserves. No, this is a 3-year project that has been done by MLB. They've taken 3 years out of their time looking through anything they can to find statistics for these players, going over old newspaper clippings, old documentary parts, old videos that they found, and piles of things. So I think overall it was a great job by MLB to be able to do this, to get this out there and be able to give these players credit that they didn't really have before. Now, obviously, the one gripe is you like to see these players get the credit they deserve when they were alive. Of course, a lot of them have passed away because it was so long ago, but it is still nice that their memory is going to be in baseball history now forever. Of course, we already knew this was coming. I think one of the big things was Baseball Reference. Obviously, the biggest place for baseball statistics for anyone, the biggest baseball database in the world, I'd say. And they put up Negro League statistics and players on their page, I'd probably say around a year ago, and you were able to look at these guys and see how good they were. And I'd always heard stories, at least for me, of these players like Josh Gibson. I have been to the Negro League museum in Kansas City, Missouri, so I've known a lot about it for a little while. It's always been very interesting to me growing up with baseball, watching baseball my entire life. It's always been something that has always interested me. But now being able to see these stats up close and seeing how amazing these guys were. Buck Leonard is another guy I forgot who's flashing on the screen as well. Of course, really all the guys there. Of course, if you're watching on stream again, anyone in yellow, that is the player who was part of the Negro Leagues and is new in this. So I'm very excited for these players and these families that they get to see their legacy be fully fulfilled on these types of lists and in baseball history forever. Again, a lot of them are already in the Hall of Fame, but it's nice seeing the records finally get the recognition they deserve. Now, some people might say, well, why, if they didn't play in the MLB, are they being remembered as MLB leaderboards? Why are we not doing that for the MPB or other leagues? Why is Ichiro not the all-time hit leader for everything? Because he is, when you combine Japanese and MLB stats. the thing that I don't think a lot of people realize is at this time that these guys were playing with Josh Gibson, Satchel Paige, again, Jackie Robinson, Cool Papa Bell, all these great black baseball players, Buck, I forgot his name, but yeah, Buck Leonard. The thing is, you could argue at this time the Negro Leagues was was a better league talent-wise than the MLB, because half the players were being segregated, of course, because of the time we were in America. So a lot of people could argue that the better talent was in this league. Obviously, we'll never know because they never played each other. We're never going to have Babe Ruth versus Satchel Paige. I know that's a matchup that baseball purists and baseball lovers have fantasized about for years and years. But looking at the past, looking at all the pure talent in this league, you can argue it's more talented than the MLB it was at the time, because a lot of the best baseball players were there. I mean, it was just white players in the MLB at this time. So I think it's very fair to put these guys here because, again, it wasn't just like these guys were minor leaguers that they played against. It wasn't like they were castaways or an independent league. No, these were major league caliber baseball players who couldn't play in the MLB, obviously because of where the country was at the time. Obviously, it was horrible and wrong. I think everybody knows that. So I think it was a great job by MLB to be able to give not only this generation, but the next generation of baseball fans a way to remember these players and make sure that their legacies aren't forgotten. Make sure that when the new generation of baseball fans grow up, they see, oh, this guy, career OPS. I see Ted Williams. I see Babe Ruth. I know these guys, but I don't know Josh Gibson. Who is that? And then they look him up. They see what he did. They see about the Negro Leagues. They see about this time period. And they go down a rabbit hole and they figure out this amazing period of baseball that was never fully capitalized on because of where our country was at the time and where America was at the time. So I think that it was a great job by MLB to be able to do this. I think it's more than deserving, and I think it was a really good job. Now, another thing I want to talk about is just Josh Gibson. I mean, Josh Gibson is incredible. You look at this, he's already third in on-base percentage, first ever in career batting average, first ever in career OPS. I mean, this guy was a beast, gone too soon, died at the age of 35 in a really horrible accident. So I think that being able to remember the baseball player that Josh Gibson was, a lot of people have said before this that Josh Gibson is the greatest baseball player of all time. And I'm not going to disagree because, again, the stats speak for themselves. And, again, I never got a chance to watch Josh Gibson or anything like that. But looking at these statistics, looking at how amazing he was, it really is a shame that we never got to see him in the major leagues against some of the other greatest competition in the world. Never got to see him in a season that was above 100 games because Negro League seasons weren't that long. So really is a shame that we'll never be able to see this. But I think with these records being in place now, it is a good way to maybe say, okay, well, this is what he was compared to with other great MLB players. And wow, the stats speak for themselves. Another thing that is great is he takes over the career batting average leader from Ty Cobb. And if you don't know, Ty Cobb was extremely racist. Ty Cobb, baseball great, obviously. I don't think anyone debates that. But you look at the man, not a great person, was extremely, extremely racist. So I think it's very it's very nice and very cool that Josh Gibson is able to take over the career batting average over him and be able to be the batting average king for, I would say, the rest of baseball history. I don't think anyone's ever going to even come close to what he did. An incredible player, an incredible man, and I'm very happy for the families of these players and the players themselves, even if they are gone, to be able to get their legacies immortalized forever. It's a very exciting thing if you're a baseball fan, and we should be very, very excited that this is finally happening. I think MLB took a lot of care with it, and we're seeing a lot more efforts to remember the Negro Leagues and what it did for baseball history, especially with the game happening with the Cardinals later this year, going to be playing in Alabama. So I think more games like this could happen in the future. I know just for me being in New York, I've always known that there was a old Negro Leagues field in New Jersey that a lot of people used to play on, that MLB has thought about playing a game there for a few years now. I think that would be great, and I would love to see that. So I think overall MLB did a great job with this. I think it was more than well-deserved, very fitting for where baseball is right now, and this just a great job. And again, if we didn't have the Negro Leagues, who knows what our game would have looked like today. I mean, our game is as diverse as it ever was. Obviously a great reason. I mean, some of the best players in the league are not white, and I think that's a great job. I think looking at how diverse this league is, looking at how different everyone is, none of this would have happened without the Negro Leagues, and the strength by these players to play the game they love in a time like this in America. A great job by them, and yeah, very happy they're getting the recognition they deserve. I think this is a great job by MLB for doing this, and they did it in a really great way. So props to them, and I really appreciate what they did. So that was the end of our first segment here, talking about the groundbreaking news that Negro League statistics are going to be integrated into the MLB database and the record books. Moving into our second segment, which is going to be talking about the New York Mets and their recent struggles. They did just get swept by the Dodgers in a doubleheader. So we'll be talking about that, and we'll see you after the break. So thanks, and bye.